Hello, you beautiful souls. Hope you're having a nice day. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but that's because, like I said, this channel is to talk about, so far right now, is to talk about Spencer and Trina on General Hospital. And for the ongoing 3 weeks, Trina hasn't been on screen, so I haven't really posted anything. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today. Warning, there will be some slight spoilers, obviously, about what's been going on GH, but honestly, just watch recaps and clips because on Twitter and online because there is really nothing interesting happening on GH right now. And please do not give them the reviews. I'm sorry, my throat is really dry right now. But anyways, there is so much I want to say, but this is going to be a two-part video. And the first part, we're just going to stick to the unfair treatment, the awful treatment of Trina right now. But my next video, the part two, I'm going to talk about the unfairness of the show overall, just in general, not just to Trina, but to the other BIPOC characters and also to the other heroines and popular characters. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so where do I even start? Okay, so to recap, Spencer has been presumed dead since January 31st. And I've already talked about the atrocity that was his memorial service. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, go check out my last video. But ever since that funeral, Trina's voice has been diminished more and more. But I will start off with the positives that I've seen, just to be fair. Just to be fair, because unlike GH writers, I'm fair. The very few scenes we have had with Trina and with her dealing with grief, they were done really well, especially the one she had with Ava. Just seeing her trying to act like everything is okay, but then breaking down, looking at a painting, which was very reminiscent of their first kiss, the clothes they were wearing. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but how Ava comforted her and gave her amazing advice about grief because she went through something similar with Kiki. I just really loved it. I love Ava and Trina's relationship so much. And I just really loved how Ava really was there to comfort Trina and come to her rescue. And like seeing Trina act out her emotions and finally breaking down and finally just accepting that she's not okay and she can't stop crying. And Tabby did an amazing job, and Maura also did an amazing job. Like, I love their relationship, I love their chemistry. It was exactly what we needed, and that's what we should be seeing. Like, I wanted more of this scene because it was just so good and so done with perfection, and it was so relatable to anyone going with grief. But how Trina was like, I can't, like, I wish I was the one who died instead of him. I can't breathe. It just shows how deep their connection is. And not just of Spencer and Trina, but of Ava and Trina, because of how Ava was able to quickly pick up on Trina's grief and comfort her. And I love this so much. She had another scene with Curtis, and I'll be fair, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was a very lovely scene, and I'm going to be fair and give Curtis his flowers. He actually surprised me and gave Trina really good advice and was actually supporting her. And I loved how he told Trina to talk to people about Spencer, talk to him, talk to Portia, talk to Joss. And I liked how he asked about the dove and he was actually listening. And that episode, I loved the parallels that they had, and the flashbacks that they had. So good job on that, writers. I know that was probably mostly Charlotte and Shannon, but any other person who worked on that scene, good job. It should have been Taggart, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that next video. And yeah, that's about it. That's about the only nice things I had to say. Now, let's get into the absolute bullcrap that they've been doing since then. So I'm gonna start with the current storyline with Joss, Trina's best friend, Dex, Joss's boyfriend. So right after those lovely scenes I just described, Dex leaves town and Joss is devastated. Now, the next time we see Trina, it is her with Joss at a bar, and Trina is comforting Joss about Dex. That's the issue. They are trying to say that what Joss is going through with Dex is the same as what Trina is going through with Spencer. It's not. Dex is alive publicly. Spencer is, at the moment, presumed dead. But instead of seeing Joss comfort Trina about Spencer, because we really haven't seen that yet except for when Joss first found out, instead of that, we have Trina comforting Joss? What? Why is Trina being used as a prop? That's not fair. And oh, spoiler alert, Joss finds Dex by next week. So it wasn't even that dramatic. But yet, they've been on screen so much this last month. And listen, I'm not, let me just say, this is not to hate on Joss and Dex. I'm just trying to compare how the writers are treating each of these characters. I don't mind Joss and Dex having this storyline, but the timing seems very deliberate and vindictive. During the last month, we've had Joss and Dex story being put more in the front, but meanwhile, Trina is going through a true tragedy, and we get to see nothing for her. That scene of Trina comforting Joss at the bar, that scene was over 2 weeks ago. And that is the last time we've seen her. And spoilers for this week don't have Trina in them at all. So after this week, we will not have seen Trina on our screens in 3 weeks. That's almost a month. During the entire month of February, which is Black History Month, Trina was on air 6 times. And let me remind you, an episode length without commercials is about 35 to 40 minutes. Each episode she was on for less than 10 minutes, sometimes less than 5 minutes. I have the receipts, but just look at how long these clips are of scenes with Trina. These are the lengths of the scenes that Trina has been in since Spencer went overboard and has been off canvas. In the last month, basically, they add up to a total of 38 and a half minutes, basically. So for over a month, we have seen Trina for only the length of 1 episode, excluding commercials. 1 episode, basically, we have had of Trina. And if Trina wasn't going to be on screen, y'all should have just had Trina and Spencer off together, happy in Paris, while NAC was on leave. And then have Trina fly back home for a weekend or so. You didn't have to make Trina suffer, because she's always suffering. Why couldn't she just be off screen and happy if you're going to have her off screen? Trina and Tabby are not benefiting from this at all. And listen, we Sprina and General Hospital fans get it. It's an ensemble show. There are so many characters and storylines. There's a little bit too much, but let's not get into that right now. But it's the fact that y'all set up Trina for a powerful storyline. A storyline that has been done many times. Not just on GH, but many other soap operas. Y'all set it up for her, but instead of just doing the logical thing and putting effort into it and giving it to her and the fans, you just sidestepped over it like it was nothing. That's where the main problem is. As much as we fans knew it was going to hurt like hell seeing Trina grieving Spencer, we were looking forward to it because we were looking forward to the powerful material that we thought Trina was going to get, that she should have gotten. We were looking forward to the Emmy reel-worthy material that Tabby was going to get, to see her range and her skills, because we know she has them. She's shown them, but we would like to see more of it on the show. But instead of getting that, which is the logical thing to do, we got Trina being sidelined in a story in a time where she should be front and center. Because every other couple on GH who has gone through a presumed death or confirmed death storyline, the love interest was always given POV and story. They were never sidelined. It doesn't matter how serious, how popular, how long the relationship was, how old the characters were. The love interest was never sidelined. Never. But Trina is being sidelined. Why? We know why. I mean, spot the difference. Can you spot the difference? It doesn't take a genius to figure out what the difference is between Spencer and Trina versus all these other couples. And for all of those saying it's not them being racist, yes it is. Just look at the facts. Look at these treats showing the history and how the grieving love interest was always shown getting support from everyone, going through the stages of grief, getting major POV, got good and juicy acting material. But you're telling me that Sprina, the next gen super couple, that's official title that they've been given. The couple that consists of Trina, a super beloved heroine, and Spencer, a complex legacy character. They don't get that material in spotlight? Once again, what's the difference between Sprina and all those other couples who got that spotlight? Oh wait, I know. Trina's black. That's not a coincidence. That's disgusting and that shouldn't be an issue. Tabby's race shouldn't affect the storyline material that she gets. We are not stupid, GH. We know a pattern when we see it. There are writers in that GH writing room who did this on purpose because they wanted Trina and her fans to suffer. They didn't want Tabby / Trina and her fans to benefit from the storyline, which would have given her Emmy reel worthy material and would have put her in the forefront. That's why they aren't showing her. They're not even putting effort into writing her grief off screen. They could have had characters mention, oh, Trina's taking this really hard. She's up in her room all day crying. She isn't eating. I don't know, something like that. But instead, the few slight mentions of Trina we get, it's just characters saying, oh, she's out. Out where? Not one character has asked, oh, how's Trina doing? Is she okay? No one. Laura had the opportunity to ask Portia that last week, but of course she didn't. And then they made the story about Heather Weber, a psychotic serial killer mourning her crazy, evil daughter who she just met. We are still seeing Laura and Heather mourn Esme. But no one is really mourning Spencer. And the only person who is actually mourning Spencer, Trina, we don't get to see her progress at all. Apparently everyone just forgot about her. And the reason why it is written like that is because there are writers in that writing room at GH who have that ignorant and disgusting mindset. As much as the majority of fans love Sprina, they love Trina just as much. Trina was a beloved character before Spencer even came back onto canvas when he was played by Nicholas. She deserves a story, and there are writers in that writing room who hate that the fans love Trina. And those writers, besides Chris and Dan, are Elizabeth Corte and Susan Flynn. Those two are selfish, vindictive, and petty. And they're still there. And what's worse, Corte was just promoted to head writer along with Patrick. And that was the biggest mistake you could have made. The people who should be in charge and have more say in the writing needs to be people who have a proven history like Patrick, where it shows that they are unbiased, that they care about each and every character, especially the BIPOC characters, because that's the majority of viewers, and writers that write beautiful storylines and dialogue. And the thing is, there are two other people in that writing room that I know for a fact have those qualities, and they're Charlotte and Shannon. Those two not only write beautiful and in-character stories for Spencer and Trina, but they write it for all the characters. You know why? Because they care about all of the fans. Corte and Flynn don't. all Corte cares about is Carly, and it's dragging everyone else down. She is poisoning the whole show, not just Sprina, the whole show. And like I said before, not only is the decision to sideline Trina racist, it's stupid. Sprina basically single-handedly breathed life back into GH and made it popular again. That's what brought me to GH was Sprina. I never watched any soap operas, but I saw Spencer and Trina on Twitter and I got invested. Whether you like it or not, Trina is your heroine, GH. Trina is the character that most of your fans love and want to see. It's not a coincidence that even when she's not on screen, she's still always trending. Accept it. And not just Trina, but other characters too. But I will do a deep dive on that in the part 2 video. But back to Trina and Sprina. You can't change how the fan base feels about a character. You can't force the audience to accept and like a character that they are not interested in. Especially if other characters and storylines have to suffer for that, they're gonna hate that character even more. Spencer and Trina, especially Trina, are your Hail Mary. They are your golden child, your solution. You should be nurturing them to the fullest care, but instead, you are choosing to try and ignore, replace, or destroy them, especially Trina. And why? Because of you and your ignorance, because of your lack of care for the actual fans of the show. And that is the dumbest decision you could ever make. You'd rather sink this ship, and I'm talking about the whole show. You'd rather sink this ship than swallow your pride and let the black girl steer the ship for a little bit? That is stupid. You need to just accept that this is the reality and that Trina is not only the heroine, but she is a beloved character and the majority of your fan base wants to see her. We aren't asking for a complete takeover of the whole show. All we are asking for is fairness. Why is Trina literally the only character that hasn't gotten the spotlight with a grief storyline after the love interest is dead, or in Spencer's case, presumed dead? That is the stupidest and most ignorant decision I have ever seen. And there is no excuse for it. And for all of those ignorant people on Twitter yesterday who were trying to come up with one excuse after the other as to why Trina doesn't need to be on screen right now or front and center right now, I'm about to end all of you guys right now. Tabby is not on vacation because they film ahead of time. If she was on vacation, they would have filmed ahead of time. So that's not an excuse. One. The next one, the excuse of, oh, well, there's other characters and stories to be told. We get that. But the writers chose to write the story in a way that would logically send Trina into a grief storyline, like we have seen with every other couple that has gone through a grief storyline. So that's not it. And if they didn't realize that, oh, we don't have room for this right now, then they are bad at their job. They're bad at their job then. Next, the excuse of, oh, Spencer isn't really dead. We know this, so we don't need to go through that storyline. Like I said before, there have been so many couples on this show that have gone through this type of storyline, some with a presumed death. Sometimes they actually show the audience that, oh, this character isn't really dead. We, the audience, just know that Spencer isn't dead because they stated that Nick's exit is temporary. But even with couples that show the audience, oh, this character is still alive, we still got to see the living love interest be put in the front and center in a grief storyline. So that excuse is out the window. Next, Trina was just front and center in a huge storyline. She doesn't always need to be in a big storyline. Excuse me? Trina was barely on in January. We saw her and Spencer making plans for Paris, and then we did not see her until the very end of January, basically. And for most part, most of her storylines that she has been on since Greenland, which was last April, she has been more in a supporting role than as the main character. So I guess this big storyline y'all were talking about was Paris. You do you mean the Paris storyline that we barely got to see? And when we did actually arrive in Paris, we were there for like what, 4 days? How was that a major arc? And once again, it was an arc that should have led to the big arc of her grieving story, but we know she didn't get that. She's not getting that. So that's it. That's not a major arc. And the last and the most bullshit excuse given. Oh, Trina isn't a legacy character. She hasn't earned this type of story yet. I'm not even going to get into the bullshit of how most of the BIPOC characters aren't really part of a legacy family. That is definitely a choice, but I will get into that in my next video. But I'm going to end this argument about Trina with these 3 words. Duke and Anna. I love Anna. I love her. But Anna isn't a legacy character. But like Trina, she was a beloved character and part of a very popular super couple with Duke. But at one point during their story, Duke was presumed dead. Not confirmed dead, presumed dead, because the actor, Ian, went to go do a play. Very similar of how the actor for Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, is off filming a movie right now. That's why he's not on canvas right now. But yet, Anna was given a full, fleshed out grief storyline, and people loved it. They loved it. All of those qualifications that you say Trina doesn't meet so that she can't have the storyline, Anna didn't have those qualifications either. But she still got that storyline. And once again, that storyline was so loved because Duke and Anna were so loved, just like Spencer and Trina. So I don't want to hear it. What I want to hear is you admit that you guys are just bitter, that the black girl is the heroine and the beloved character, and that you have an ignorant mindset. Just admit it. Save your breath. But anyways, that is it for this video. Like I said, while this video mostly focused on the misuse and disregard for Trina from the writers, I am going to make a part 2 video that talks about the disregard of a lot of characters on the show, particularly every character that isn't related or isn't Carly, Sunny, or Jason. I will also be talking about the announcement of the brand new soap opera, The Gates, that is going to be black-centered, and how it hopefully will light a fire in these soap operas' ass to get it right. The only reason why I still have hope for GH is because Patrick is coming in, but I need to see changes now. But anyway, I really hope you stay tuned, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. And please comment below your thoughts on this video, your thoughts on the disregard for Trina and all the other characters. Comment, share, subscribe, and please make sure to call the ABC and GH hotline, write them letters, send them emails, and remember that Trina's voice matters, black voices matter, and women's voices matter. Thank you so much, and hope that's it. Have a nice day, y'all. Bye.